But if anyone wants,
No, you were the first one, Fabienne. That's fine. You were the first one. Yeah. So let me try and see you. Yeah. Fabienne, is there something you would like to work on today?
yes, it's in relationship with money.
Yeah.
In particular, the money that I have invested in my tradings account.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I would like the amount to show positive green.
You know, yeah. So what is your picture then? What is the picture that you hold in mind?
Like the positive one or the current one?
The current one. What are you creating? That is actually the picture. So we don't have to delude ourselves and say, oh, I want this picture, but actually the reality is this. Your picture equals the real picture, the vibrational match equals reality, right? Yeah.
So my picture is when I'm opening my tradings account on my mobile phone, I see only red colors at the moment. And yes.
Okay. So, and you are a student of the release technique. So
Yes.
you know a little bit about how it works, right? So so where would you say your emotions are when this happens?
So I think it's not every day the same emotion.
Yeah.
Sometimes is a bit of fear that I could lose more money.
Yeah.
Sometimes is a bit of grief, like I can't do much about it because the general economy is the way it is, or the stock exchange is the way it is.
Yeah.
So usually it's between grief and fear.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So first, what we're going to do, I want you to think of the heaviest memory you can find. So this is the difference between Faster EFT and I would say releasing. Although they say in releasing, go to a very difficult memory, a lot of us avoid it. We avoid it like hell, yeah, because it's not pleasant to go to these memories. But in Faster EFT, they tell you you have to do it, and then you just do it. And very often you do it with a practitioner. So could you find the reason why we go to these very heavy memories is because the release technique and release technique more than Faster EFT, they really believe that when you don't clear that consciousness, it will keep on messing up your reality, let's say, right? So is there, if you could go to a memory or something similar around fear and grief around money, would you say this is the first time it happened, or is there something else that you witnessed in your childhood, maybe?
I think it's in my childhood. It's in my childhood, something that I've witnessed.
Okay, so things that we witness in Faster EFT are very important, and literally they become like our worldview. So things that have happened to our parents, or maybe in the economy when we were tiny, or we saw it with maybe even aunties or our siblings, can really have an impact on us. So you don't have to give us the details of the picture, but can you bring up that picture and feel and tell me how heavy the emotion is from 0 to 10.
Ten being very heavy.
Yes.
Right. I would say a 9.
A 9. And what would it be? Grief or fear?
Fear.
Fear. Was there fear in other people as well that were close to you?
My parents.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Very often, many money issues are first about our childhood and parents. Yeah. Many programming comes from those times. And of course, also the same with relationships and how good we are, how hard we have to work, etc. If we can blame the parents or we can empower ourselves. We're not blaming the parents anymore. So So the first thing that I want you to do, Fabienne, there are schools in the release technique that say from this level, you see here, from this level under 200, we are not releasing. So we have to go into what they call CAP, courage, acceptance, and peace. And to go into CAP, I want you to connect with your heart and with a memory of you being completely in power and love and in joy and acceptance and gratitude. Bring up a memory.
Like the memory that I brought at the beginning, or another
No,
one?
no, one where you are absolutely in love, you know, like this man here, like this man or woman, basically be in complete love and gratitude.
Okay, so that's easy.
Yeah. So
It's
can you
very
see that we hold different states of body, right? We have these trance states, and then let's say we go to a retreat, we feel so elevated and blah, blah, blah. But then we go back to our bank account or our trading account and boom, we go back again. So now this is the ultimate time to take responsibility. So this is another step. Are you willing to take responsibility and to be a master, Fabienne?
Absolutely, yes.
Being a master is a very important thing in the releasing technique. In the releasing technique, everybody is asked to acknowledge that they are a master. And to be fair, in Faster EFT, Robert Gene Smith never says that you are a failure when you are manifesting things that you don't want. He says that you're doing something so well that you always get very reliable results. So again, we're always masters. We're either mastering living in these trance states, or we're mastering living in these higher states. So I want you to now, and this is something that I've figured out, there was a video of Abraham Hicks that said that when you are in alignment, Fabienne, and when we are in alignment, we are like an atomic bomb. We have the power of an atomic bomb. And I made it into an atomic bomb of love. And every little thing that you are struggling with, every little thing that you're trying to fix and change and wrestle to the ground is as powerful as a firecracker. Can you see that analogy?
Yes.
So can you align yourself in oneness with the atomic bomb of love and oneness? And probably you're going to go to the void. It's almost like your brainwave is going to go to the void when you do this. It's like, imagine that there is a sea of consciousness, and the sea of consciousness is connected to oneness, love, infinite potentials. And now from this place, could you welcome up the feeling of fear? That is a 9. Allow yourself to open up the zipper. There's a zipper in front of your energy body. Open up the zipper and welcome up that feeling. And more. So we're going to work first with the feeling, not with the picture, because what we will see is when you release the emotions from the body and you release it from a higher state of alignment, the picture will lose the electromagnetic memory. So what we're doing here, we're allowing ourselves to release the emotions first. So from your oneness with the atomic bomb of love, allow yourself to welcome up more fear. Welcome it up even more. Just allow the fear to leave your body. Just welcome it up as if it was a beautiful, long-time friend. So most of the time we're trying to repress or negate or ignore or judge the feelings of fear. But when we do that, we are not taking on the power that is here when we are operating from this part of ourselves that is more in love and oneness. So Fabienne, what is happening when you're letting out the fear? Is the number slowly reducing?
5.
5. So we didn't even work on the picture, right? We just worked on you being in alignment and you letting go of the fear with love. Yeah. So I just want to check, if you go back to the picture of your parents, the memory of your parents, how do they seem now? Do they still feel the same, or are they a little bit different?
They're laughing.
They're laughing. Before they were in fear?
Yes, they were in worry.
Okay, great. So now we don't have to allow it to be a 5. And how are you feeling? Because you can also step into the energy body of that memory. How are you feeling now that you're at a 5 and you see your parents laughing?
A bit neutral. I'm not sure.
Okay, but you still believe there's a 5, yeah?
Yes.
So
and now it's going down.
Now it's going down.
Yes.
Okay. So allow yourself to completely release all the fear around money. And in the release technique, they tell us to talk to the fear and talk to all these lower emotions and to not separate ourselves from it. So we love it. So just say to it, I love you.
I love you, fear. I love you unconditionally. I love you if you stay. I love you if you go.
If you leave, yeah. I just love you.
I just love you.
I completely love you.
I completely love you. Okay.
And
0.
Wow. So we have tackled a very important memory from your parents. So I want to check in again. How are your parents doing now in the picture? Because your representation of the world will be a big part of how you create reality. So what are you feeling when you see your parents now? Or how are they feeling and how are you feeling?
So they are laughing and, cracking jokes, and I'm laughing with them.
Okay, great. So from this state of mind, we tackled one piece of the neural network. Now I want you to maybe look at your belief or your picture about trading and economy, because that will be a bit of a side neural network, right? There will be a lot of different associations. So when you think about trading accounts and it all going down, the economy is going down, it's going to crash every day, anytime soon, the biggest recession or depression ever mankind ever knew. Yeah, this is what we hear in the news.
Yes.
So would you say that you're allowing the fear to run the programs of your mind?
Right now, I don't feel fear.
So when you now look at your trading accounts, you see it red, what happens to your body?
I feel something around my chest area.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a contraction.
Yeah. Yeah.
More like a vibration than a contraction, actually. I mean, it's not good, it's not bad. I just feel it.
Yeah. Okay. So all feelings want to leave according to the release technique. They're just energy wanting to leave. So we don't have to hold on to them. So can you give it a number, 0 to 10?
6.
6. Okay. So can you just allow this energy to leave? And it could be some kind of energy thought form from the collective, right? Because there's a lot of fear around economy and the stock markets right now. So can you, and maybe that's why you cannot identify it with yourself. So can you just allow it to leave and give it permission to leave?
Yes.
It is safe to leave. And I love you.
I love you.
I just love you.
I just love you.
And it's safe to leave.
It's safe to leave.
I love you if you stay, and I love you if you leave.
I love you if you stay. I love you if you leave.
So, and if you could go back to the identification with the atomic bomb of love and the infinite field or the void. From that perspective, Fabienne, can you just unconditionally love your trading accounts being in the red?
Yes.
So that is the imperturbability teaching, right? We love it when it's red. We love it when it makes us profit. So love in 500 is unconditional. It's not, I love you when you're green and I go back to grief when you're red. Yeah. So can you now unconditionally just accept and surrender to your trading account being red?
Yes.
And
Yes.
imagine that all of us naturally will resist these things. We will resist losing our job, losing money, losing a relationship, being bullied or whatever. But when we stay in resistance, what we resist persists, because if you look at how we're imprinting the subconscious mind into the formless substance or the field, then we're creating more of it. So us not clearing the resistance to losing money will keep the fear alive. So what we're doing here now is we're demonstrating that there's a higher part of us that can love us losing money or the stock market's losing money. So can you now, when you look at the picture, imagine that you're opening up your phone, Fabienne, and you're going to see the trading accounts. So what do you feel when you see it now being in the red? What is it? What is the emotion that comes up?
I think I'm less attached. I'm less attached to it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking this is all a game and it will go green one day or not.
Yeah. It's so funny because sometimes my parents, they see me like, in the stock markets doing the crypto or whatever. And I would say, oh my God, we have to do this and that and that. And then my parents would say, Angelique, we've seen these things happen over and over again in cycles. Everything will be fine. And I'm like, what do you mean? Everything is not fine. This is not unprecedented. And I just feel like such a green person, like a rookie or something. And my parents are all calm because they've seen it happen over and over again. And I'm like, okay. So yeah. And so can you now unconditionally just accept that your trading account can go up or down? Just give it permission to go up and down and you still love it.
Yes.
Can you allow money to no longer be your safety, but your alignment with source is your safety?
That's a bit more difficult.
Yeah, but that is where we're ultimately going when we continue the releasing. We don't have to do it today, but can you see? Money has become a big source of safety. And as long as we project that safety onto money, we will not really be willing to lose it or to squander it or to see it go down. And then, of course, because we're so powerful, we create more of what we fear. So this energy in front of your chest, what's going on now?
I don't feel it.
You don't feel it?
Yeah, it's I feel it's gone. Yeah.
Okay. So we follow your neural network. So you had this picture that created grief and fear around money. It was connected with another memory in the past. Now I want you to go back to the trading account again. Let's check. How are you feeling when you would open up your bank account?
I feel okay. I feel okay. I'm just thinking it's okay the way it is right now.
Great. So you see you're no longer in lack or resistance. So now we're going to do a Lester rising, which is almost a Neville Goddard type of exercise. So what would be your positive picture about your money, Fabienne?
All green.
Okay, so, and then, okay, so let's be real here because we want it, but then there's very often this desire, right? Like I want it, but I don't think I can get it. I'm not sure I can get it. So all green, what is the real emotion that it brings up?
Patience, that I need to be more patient, or so impatience,
Impatience.
impatience.
So when you are going to this beautiful picture of what you want to create, there's impatience. And is impatience lack or oneness?
Lack.
Okay. And would you say that would be desire, craving, 125?
It's not so much of a craving.
It's still, I want it, but it's not here yet, though.
Yes, yes. So, yeah.
Why is it not here? You know what Dr. Joe says, when you're looking for it, you're not creating. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So now we know how our body is programmed. So can you now allow yourself to go to the beautiful picture that you want to create and bring up all the feelings of impatience from 0 to 10? How high is it?
I think I'm a 7.
A 7. So, and allow yourself to go back to the oneness state, connect with the atomic bomb of love and the field of love, the field of unity consciousness. And from that place, open up the zipper and allow the feelings of impatience to leave. Welcome them up. And more. Just allow them to leave your body. It's just energy wanting to leave. All energy wants to leave. All energy just wants to leave. And more. And more. And more. So what is going on? Are you getting another picture in place of it? Or we could also go to a picture of you being impatient, but that might be very personal.
I just see now a dollar bill.
A dollar bill.
Yeah, like a green bill.
And what is the feeling behind it?
Literally what I'm seeing right now is that it has some little wings and it flies and it comes and goes.
Oh, funny. You could be connecting to the divine sources of multiple income, quantum potential.
It's flying all around. It's all around there, So it's quite a positive image.
I love it because Fabienne, would you say that this picture is very playful?
Oh, yes.
And it's in joy?
Yes.
And are you still feeling the 7 of impatience, or is it gone now?
No, it's gone.
So now I want you to accept and maybe welcome in that the source of supply is the infinite field of potential. The source of your supply is the infinite field of potential. Can you say yes to that?
Yes.
Just allow the source of supply to take a seat in your heart. And maybe take a seat in all the chakras where you need it. This imprint of our source of supply is the infinite field of potential. We're no longer having to outsource that responsibility to a human creation like money. Instead, money can be an extension of source energy. It can show up as money, but we are going to build a long-term relationship with this quantum field of potential that is the real source of our supply. So can you be grateful for this beautiful little image of the money flying?
Yes, I'm very grateful.
Yeah. And so let's go now back to the impatience around money. Do you still feel it?
No.
Okay. So, wow, Fabienne, this was really amazing.
Wow, I feel so good now. I mean, what a beautiful image. Thank you so much. I really feel like a lot of joy now. Very,
Amazing.
I have this feeling of being very aligned and very peaceful and like worry free. Yes.
Yeah. You know, the thing is that this was a light memory for you and money. And money is not a huge issue in your life, but there are other people where money was like constantly in lag, and it affected their self-esteem, it affected their ability to receive, it affected, then we start the memories, and then boom, they go back to, I had to get secondhand toys from my parents and my brother, blah, blah, blah. You have tears, right? So this is why I don't want to poo-poo it, but yours was like, you're in a good place with money, but you still gave us a really good example to work with. With other people, when you have a lot of difficult memories around relationship, business, work, let's say, I don't know, ex-husbands, children, whatever it is, when you really go to the neural network, we don't always end up in, let's say, the area where we started. It can suddenly go somewhere else. And this is how I believe when we understand the Faster EFT principles, it's more useful to tackle the neural network than to just go, oh, let's focus on this one picture. Because that one picture, the feeling of it is associated with a memory that was like a core memory and like a core belief, especially when we witnessed our parents and bosses and experts that we believe, like the news, when they start giving us this programming, we completely accept, believe, and surrender and take it as the truth. And this is how we need to deprogram ourselves. Yeah. Because what I've seen in the release technique is this, I was there for years in the retreats, is people would be told, yeah, you inherited this, let's say, $1 million debt from your dead husband. We cannot help you. You cannot even sell the business. And literally these people would be releasing, and they would suddenly find a buyer that wanted to buy the company, and they would be financially free. So for me being in that school allowed me to think, I am never listening to any expert. There's a higher expert, and that's the one I'm going to listen to. So thank you, Fabienne, for your courage.
Thank you very much. It was
Yeah.
really a good experience for me, really.
Yeah. And it's slightly different from how other people release. But I think, everybody releases differently. If you would go to a retreat, some people are very rigid. They would be very, very upset because nobody releases the way they want it. And you just have to allow it to be. So, yeah.
I really love this image of this atomic bomb of love. I mean, this is such a powerful image.
Yeah.
Really. Wow. And I still have it here. I still feel, you had this image in your PowerPoint,
Yeah.
and I printed it somehow, and I still feel it like this, like in your image. So,
but Fabienne, I heard it once in an Abraham Hicks video, and I thought, oh my God. And because 2 years before, I was in a theta healing session, and somebody saw a volcano exploding. And she gave me that image for a healing. And she said, you just need to be the volcano that explodes. And I was like, what does that mean? And then my business partner, Ellen, I was telling her that, and she said, oh, this sounds like this beautiful, lovely, Henrik is laughing, maybe he knows the song. There's this Disney song about two volcanoes next to each other that are lonely, and it's called Lava Love. And so Ellen and I were like, what? this Lava Love song is about when you explode and there's all love, it affects the field, right? Because remember, there was a time when something happened to a volcano and nobody could fly for 2 weeks or something. Imagine that when love, there is a Lava Love song, and my business partner and I are so entangled that she gave me the explanation of my theta healing session. And when we understand the Lava Love concept, it's the same with atomic bomb of love. But Abraham Hicks saying, you in alignment are so powerful. You're as powerful as an atomic bomb of love. And whatever little thing you're struggling with is a firecracker. I loved it. When we really understand our power, why would we hold on to all these little emotions, right? So yeah, there's deep meaning. And I will tell you, I was almost going to give up on this thing. And then suddenly one day, I don't know where, the Atomic Bomb of Love, a book, showed up in my feed. And I posted it on Facebook. I said, this must be a sign. Like, what is this sign for? And I tagged the people that I was releasing with. And I said, this is a sign. This is a sign. So there's imagery that we can work with that is truthful, I think, to the reality of the powers that we're working with. And we often negate the power of the divine and the divinity within us. And I think this atomic bomb of love, when Esther Hicks gave it to us, it's really given to us to empower ourselves around how powerful we are. Yeah. So, yeah. So I want to ask, maybe there are questions, maybe people have questions around this technique or observations. Mainly, normally, you would have to release along. You would have to create your own pictures, your own rating, and release along. That is how we do it in a class. So Claudine, I know that you've been in releasing classes. I work very differently than Chris. I am a bit more spiritual and more creative than Chris.
I see that. And I am in a course now, in a second course. So yes, and it's very, thank you, Fabienne, for doing this. And really it's I'm very impressed on seeing that, and it's really like it's a combination that I can relate to the fact that I can relate to what you shared about needing or using a combination of techniques and not doing only one. And it's also a frustration for me, like to just stick in one, and I'm like, okay, and I cannot stop myself. Sometimes I do a walking meditation and I'm releasing, in fact, in the walking meditation, because I cannot help to mix things. So it's and I think it's more interesting and more rich to really use a combination and feel inspired, or just allow oneself to I allow myself to mix things, and sometimes I can get on something that is really, oh, that's nice. That's giving effect, and I don't write it down, but I cannot help myself but just mix things, and of course that or allow that to happen. And I think that it's interesting too. So thank you.
So those of you who followed and maybe who didn't know how to release along, it's just basically opening up the zipper. Imagine that you have an energy field, you open up the zipper and you allow that energy, which has a number, to leave. So instead of trying to change the picture in your mind, you allow the energy to leave. And what you'll see is that as the energy leaves your body, the picture will change. And when you change the energy, the quantum field will change. And this is how we work with the quantum field in a different way. So maybe there are more questions. I mean, when I really find that the releasing is a very powerful tool, and you can do it even driving your car, washing the dishes, being in the shower, being at work. But I think when you have more difficult things to tackle, like money programs or am I good enough programs, or you know, I am not this successful person program. I mean, there's quite a lot to release. Just like Faster EFT, they say you have this whole list, you know, the peace list, you know, it could be 20, 50 things that you could write on it. Literally one day I had to write down all my ex-boyfriends. Oh my God, that was a long list. So, so imagine that you do have a lot of negative programs, but then of course I said, okay, I'm not a victim. These men were all my self-reflection of me not loving myself and being rejection material and abandonment material. So I'm going to take ownership. And of course, then when I cleared it all, I manifested an amazing man. So we are very, very powerful. And I manifested huge amounts of money as well with the release technique. So I would say, you know, when we combine the release technique with the Faster EFT testimonials that are almost as good as the Dr. Joe ones, take back your power. Don't go into the trance. The trance, even if it's very, very seductive and you get a lot of love for it, like Tony Robbins says, a lot of women, especially, they are stuck in their woundology, as Caroline Myss would say it. They get a lot of love and significance for being, I don't know, you know, so married with a narcissist. Let's say I'm just taking one thing, you know, but it could be anything. So don't go there. It's not serving you because the world needs us. So any observations, because I'm not sure whether just witnessing somebody else do it will allows you to really feel the kinesthetic release of the energies or not. Any observations? Maybe Henrik, did it help you a little bit?
It's not a technique that I'm that familiar with, so
yeah,
I do feel I struggle a little bit to follow the entire process. I mean, obviously, I could witness it, but I didn't really quite feel that I could like fully follow along through all the steps. But I'm sure that will become clear.
Yeah. So the way that they teach it is like they give you a workbook and they teach you how to release step by step. But because I'm combining it with different things, it makes it even a bit more complex. But the way that I when I'm in a class, I really just, you know, we take it at the first thing, which is like just open up the zipper and allow the energy to leave. And instead of repressing it, instead of judging yourself, instead of hating the emotions, love it. Because when you love it, you go to this higher state of mind. And we don't release from the victim consciousness. We have to align ourselves with a bigger energy field. You understand that, right? So first, align yourself with a bigger energy field, become one with it. From that place, you go to that place in your body, could be a chakra, could be an energy center, could be even in your field. You allow that energy to be known. So you don't focus on the picture anymore, and you just allow it to release, to go back to basically not be frozen in time anymore, because I see energy blocks as a frozen consciousness, and you allow it to become one again with the infinite quantum field. So it goes back to its original form. So that energy can be released for more creation. So this is how I see it. And then the second step is to really look at all the different images that we have. Like, you know, like if we only see, like, you know, our self-image, oh, I'm such a bad, you know, let's say I don't like being on stage, or I don't like being, it's arrogant to believe in myself, to sell myself, who I am. Who do I think I am? If we have those images, we have to change them. Yeah, because they're all I'm not good enough programs. And so sometimes it's enough to clear the emotions, and then you see yourself no longer believing that picture of yourself. In the release technique, they also teach us that a lot of our programs are just there to devalue ourselves. So one of the things that they teach us is you're beating yourself up. Can you stop beating up yourself? And so, and actually it's true, because when I was just starting to releasing, and I was always self-sabotaging relationships. Why? Because I believed the men were going to leave me because I was not good enough. So I had a lot of I'm not good enough programs. So, but we have that as well in money. We have that as well in business. So there are tendencies of the mind that we cannot give the mind free rein. Because the mind, the way that it is, if we're not getting the results that we want, is not going to lead us to a better future. So we have to retrain it. Yeah. So thank you. And thank you for the feedback. Another time I'm happy to really, take it more slowly, but I'm just thinking about the time. And, but I think it was really important to show people visually where we are, because often we only think we're here and then we think, why am I not doing it? Nothing is shifting, nothing is shifting. No, we literally have to go here. We have to identify with here, and then we can release. From that higher perspective, even if it's not our new normal identity, we're always still connected to that part of us. And from that part, we can always allow the guidance to release any energy blocks we have. Yeah. So I'm sure I'll do another little releasing workshop, and then more people can do an exercise. I cannot even read. I cannot even read this. But are there any other people that might have questions or observations? I mean, the release technique. You can also look at the Sedona method. You can, of course, also look at Faster EFT. That's another thing that I used, and I combine. But what I like about the release technique is that you just open up the zipper and you're allowing the energy to leave. And you can do that all the time, And literally one of the things that they teach us is, imagine that you want to build a business, or you want to apply for a job, or you want to go dating. All of them create like a lot of resistance, right? And instead of allowing the program to win, what they teach us is you actually release while you're taking the action. So you go into courage, meaning you feel fear, but you do it anyway because you're bigger than the program. But then as you're taking the action, the inspired action, you're releasing. So this is what I had to do, because as I explained, I had a big program that I didn't want to make money being a healer. That was like the thing that I did not want. But in a constellation, it was shown to me that that was really to the detriment of myself and to also the people that I needed to work with. So I had to clear my resistance to creating a program and to even putting a price. Just thinking about a price made me feel sick for days. So I had to release that. And I knew it was a program about the light workers pendulum. And I think the light workers pendulum is, when you're a light worker, you're not supposed to get money. When you're a light worker, you will be punished if you get money, or people expect you to do everything for free, blah, blah, blah. And so I was releasing my resistance. And at one point, it was more quiet in my body. And then the right number just came. And the right number was one where I didn't feel undervalued, or I didn't feel, oh, I'm over asking the price. I felt, no, this is a fair value for what I can do now. And so anything, it could also be, like, let's say you want to set up your healing website, or you want to market yourself. You could come up with the same thing. You could still feel, oh, I don't feel ready. Don't let the body dictate your future. Release it, and release it with love, and just say, I love you. And I love it unconditionally. Love that feeling unconditionally. And when you let the energy leave, you'll see that the pictures start changing. And at one point, you'll be neutral. And when you're neutral, that is the magical space and time. Then you insert in the picture of what you do want. What would you like to achieve? You like to work with the right people. You like to meet the right man. You would like yourself to live in abundance, right? You would like yourself to have multiple sources of income. So when you start to have these pictures, and then you feel any type of resistance in your body, you release that. And it's that easy. It's that easy. But it's important to go into this connection with this higher level of consciousness, where your body is no longer just restricted by the what is it? The imprisonment of like, oh no, I can't. Yeah. Does it make sense? Yeah. And some of you might not be that kinesthetic, but I think we're all kinesthetic to some extent. But I think maybe we have pushed it away a lot, because in a lot of constellations, the panic is showing up in money. In almost every constellation, the panic. and the grief shows up around money. So, yeah. Does anybody have questions?
I think I do have one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just I'm wondering how to get to the 0 point field, to the neutrality.
So basically, I listen to, there's different people. So one of the people, neutrality is very important. I was listening to this guy that was interviewed. He made this video, picture on Netflix or something. It was all about the code. I forgot. I really didn't. It was too mathematical for me, but I could follow him in an interview. I think his name is called Robert Grant. And he was investigating all the field, and he did say we have to go to neutrality, but he also said love is a big factor. And just a few days before that, I was telling the group on Sunday, there's this guy called Joe Gallenberger who studies basically doing psychic stuff with slot machines, lottery, and gambling machines. And he said when he teaches people how to win the lottery or how to win, when going to Vegas, the people that are winning, they are playful and in love. So I think when we look at the Dr. Joe formula, state of creation is the closer you get to source, that is love, but unconditional love. So that is not, I only love my creation, but I don't love the non-creation. You love both. So that is neutrality, but it's still love. And so, but also, so I think that love, I think that he talks about is really this, almost this, like, it's not human. I don't think it's human. I don't think it's the way we think it's love. It's really this, I am so grateful for all the trauma, betrayals, and cheaters in my life because they brought me where I am. The big breakthrough that people have when they are in a retreat and they're walking around like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for all the horrible stuff that happened because I'm here. I think it's that type of love. It's joy. It's almost joy and love. So, I mean, I shared that video in the Mighty Networks. It's a 1.5 hour interview. I have his books, but I thought this interview was amazing because if you can consistently teach people to win the lottery and he can see who are winning the lottery, and these people are playful and they're in unconditional love, then that's what we need to do. Yeah. But some of us might not want to win the lottery. Some of you might want to build a business, build a beautiful, aspirational organization, so whatever it is, as long as we're playful and we are in that unconditional love. And when he says playful, he meant not with attachment, neediness, and desperation, because that's the opposite. That's creating from lack. And this is why when you see the David Hawkins scale, if you're not getting it, you know where you are. There's something there. Yeah, that's a very good question. I hope I answered it a bit. I would also say study all the testimonials for all these videos. So many people are manifesting things. You have to study their mindset, and then you'll see they were in complete surrender in a way. They were loving life. They weren't feeling like a victim. Yeah. But when we're in a trance, we feel like a victim. So when you are off with when you're not in love, you're not in gratitude, you're not in joy, you are in a trance. And it's but the thing is, it might feel so familiar that you don't recognize it. Yeah, that is very important to know. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah. Chris? Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to apologize because I really thought it was now and I came so late. I was not courageous enough to ask. But now that I, thank you. But now that I am listening to what we are talking about, and I remember previous sessions with you, I'm in that point where I have cleared all my fears and all my beliefs that I wouldn't have enough or that I wouldn't be strong enough to have a business or so on. But now I'm in this clear state that I need to put my picture of the wanted state. And I from very early, I understood that I could get the money I wanted. And that was mainly because my father always told me that you can make money with whatever you put yourself to. And he's right. I during the pandemic, I have created a jewelry brand only to support institutions of people in need, not for me, this money.
Wow.
It's the most growing business that I'm having at the moment.
Wow.
And so I wanted to build a business also to assure I am financially independent, but not yet financially free. And I would also, I'm also following this multiple sources of income trend, which is, I think, it's the best way to do it. But I would really like to establish a business about which I am passionate and that can really support my needs and the needs of other people. And at this point, I am a translator and an interpreter, and this hardly covers my needs. If I didn't have other sources, I would not live from this. So it's really hard for me to have this picture that I have to put so that I can have these wonderful feelings and going for that. How can I clear my mind or have a clear idea?
Yeah.
Because I'm too happy with my present to imagine a better future, you know?
Yeah. So I think what you're saying is, I want to have more money, multiple sources of income, but I'm not clear yet on what it would be like.
Yeah. For instance, living with Mario is very, it's a very good combination because I am very good at working and organizing in the present, and he's very good at seeing the final picture. So I kind of work our way through for both of us, and he's the guy who has the roof. Okay, we want this. But I would like to have my own business too, and not only businesses together with him.
Yeah.
We are terrific partners, in fact. But I kind of get a lot of, I'm happy to do things and to get them to produce results. So what would you advise me to do in order to clear my mind about what I want?
So one of the things that I really believe in is that we cannot figure it out. This is a very fundamental teaching from the release technique. Your mind, if it has just been basically good in, let's say, solving a specific level of problems, but not in creating this, then you won't have the tools yet. It doesn't mean that it can't come. So the one thing that I would advise is maybe allow yourself the time to allow yourself to ask the question and to allow the answer to come to you. And so, like my idea of creating games was in a walking meditation. It just like, I wasn't thinking about creating a business. I was already financially free, so I didn't have to create a business. But I had this thing coming and it said, you're going to create a game. And I said to Flores, who was, who's one of the hosts of the 5 a.m., I said, hey, Divine says that I have to create a game. And I didn't know what it was. And you know what I tried? He said, wow, don't even try and find a developer, a web designer. It will come to you. And we both believed in that. And we both like, I'm not even going to Google a web designer. And I went home, and you know what happened? Just after that, a friend visited from Australia. I met him at an NLP retreat, and we did a lot of masterminding together, but I didn't know what he was doing because I wasn't interested in what he was doing. And he said to me, when we were walking to the supermarket, Angelique, by the way, I didn't update you on what was going on, but I'm actually creating my own app design company. And I said, oh my God, I manifested you. He created the app for our business. But then what I tried to do, I tried to create the PowerPoint of the game. I was like struggling and efforting. And you know what? None of them felt right. I had to let it go. And I think a month later, I had another download, which was, you're going to work with Ellen. And it was a download. I didn't even know Ellen. I just approached Ellen and she said, that feels right. And then later on, we just found out we're super connected, very aligned, very telepathic with each other, and we're very much attuned to each other. And imagine, I didn't know her that well. And then I got another download maybe 2 or 3 months later. So I would say these things, don't rush it. Urgency is one of the 7 toxic ways of thinking. Source has its divine time, but you are inviting it in, so it will come to you. So this is what I trust.
Instead of wanting to be such a human doing, I have to take some time being a human being.
Yeah, and be grateful, connect to the divine. And what I would also say is at that time, I had studied this course of Michael Bernard Beckwith of the 4 stages of creation. Number 1 is creating from survival. Second one is creating from ego. I want to do this because I'm scared, or I want status, or I want to be loved. I want validation, blah, blah, blah. Third stage is where I'm at, most of us are at, is surrender. And when you create from a state of surrender, you're surrendering your life to the divine and you're inviting the divine to work through you. And I will tell you, if I look at all the people in the world that are successful, that's the only state that is sustainable. And I think you intuitively know that. So if you take these steps, surrender your life and your career to the divine, and you allow the divine to channel something through you, and you will receive the downloads, or somebody will contact you and it will feel right, or you will have an idea and it's completely crazy and illogical and you don't even know why you have to do it or what it means. Be grateful for it and work with it, and more will come. But just feel maybe, but I think what is beautiful is that you already have the capability, you have the self-confidence. It's just that you're not clear yet. But what I think you can do is start general. That's what Abraham Hicks says, right? Start general. So instead of saying, I don't know what I want, just start general. What would you love to do? I would love to feel uplifted. I would love to have freedom. I would love to feel joy. These are the type of people I would like to collaborate with. These are the type of venues I want to go to. This is the type of activity that I would like to do without even knowing the details. You see what I mean? Just allow it to come to you and it will become clearer and clearer. Yeah.
That's a great idea. And also there's another thing from Esther. She says that if you don't know the big picture, just ask, what do I want to do now? Who do I want to see for lunch? Mike Dooley is also one of my big heroes, also because he was a tax lawyer just like me. So I was also a tax lawyer, so I'm always listening to him being a tax lawyer and manifesting everything, and then doing all these like crazy Legos with his friends and family, talking about things that are going to happen in the future, but he's talking as if it already happened, like who he met in a plane, and these things hadn't even happened. But then he always teaches, go for the end result. At the end of your life, what would you have achieved? What if you look back, you know? So big picture, not like details. Big picture. I have worked with, you know, like maybe I have helped, I don't know, thousands of people have amazing holidays or meetings or events or transformational trips, or I don't know what it is, but something. What I would say is, if you look at the things that bring you joy now, that uplift you now. Everything brings me joy. At the moment, I am translating the Eat Path, the diabetes directions for pediatric population, which is 25 chapters, and I've been with this for some months. I just love to know that I'm going to wake up and it will come to my computer, and Mari is like, oh my, I can't believe it. Everything I do, I love to do. This is really good. That's why I'm a little bit lost, because it's like I'm always so happy. What else can there be?
Oh,
but yeah, but you helped me in a big way.
Yeah.
With
The
your
thing is,
answer.
none of us here have the answer for you. You have the answer.
Sure.
And you will, and you can choose. It's not like a God is telling you what to do. I mean, God will give me permission not to do what I'm doing now and to completely ruin my marriage and everything. I can do it still. I mean, we have free will, right? But do you really want that? No. Yeah, just go for what really makes a sense and is the logical next step. The logical next step for the inspired action. Maybe somebody else has an answer regarding what to do when you don't have clarity. Everybody is scared.
No, I'm laughing because I was like, if I knew, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Yeah, but you see the evolution, right? From the state of consciousness that you're in right now, in the comfort zone, in a specific identification, we cannot allow ourselves to step out in that new identification, right? Yeah, because let's say we want to do a healing business, we would have to change quite a few things about ourselves. Yeah. So, and if we need to, let's say, promote, let's say, healing sessions, we would have to suddenly feel responsible, maybe. And those are all the things that we need to heal, or we need to realign. But I will tell you one thing. If you told me when I was a tax lawyer that I would be a healer, or I would be doing, energy work, I would think you were completely crazy. That would be the last thing on my mind. The thing is like our destiny is malleable, and I would say there are no rules, and you can literally also stay where you are now. You don't have to create anything. A lot of us are very comfortable where we are. So why would you even tell yourself, oh, I need to grow, I need to do this? Actually, Tony Robbins says, if you don't grow, you die. But I think he talks about it in different ways. It's not about you have to go higher and higher with your aspirations in business. I think he is more alluding to spiritual growth and not staying in the ego, because he also talks about the ego and the spirit. Yeah.
Maybe Angelique, I'd like to ask something, because I just to tell something, because I just remembered from the Abraham Hicks conference, because I had a question in my mind that was a bit similar, related to, okay, if you are in a good state and you're no longer creating, what to do. And I didn't go to the hot seat, but somebody had similar questions, so the question was answered. And it's funny because when I was thinking about this question, I was talking about this question with someone at the break, and I used this analogy of, and what if, to be happy, you just go in the mountains in a cabin and you meditate all day and you're calm and you're happy, and you're in connection with nature, but you don't create anything, nothing is moving in your life. So I was like, okay, where do you put the cursor? And it's funny because when Esther, talked about that topic, she used exactly that image of meditating in the forest in a cabin. So I was like a bit freaked. I was like, is she reading my mind?
She was probably.
And I looked at my neighbor to whom I had spoken that idea, and she was like, what? So the way she answered is that we are constant creators. And one of the things that triggers our creation is to experience contrast.
Oh no, contrast, please.
So, exactly. So, and she said, basically, yes, you could stay, all life, meditating in the forest with the trees and being super connected. But you would stop then being in expansion and create. And she said, creation is really in the action. So you need to experience life. You need to try out new things. And when you try out new things that goes outside of your comfort zone, you would experience contrast. And when you're experiencing contrast, then you launch that rocket of desire, which is your new vision for what you want to create. So I think it's a fine balance between, at a certain point, reaching that very peaceful state where you're super happy with everything that you're doing, but then you have like a burning desire to create more. And her advice was just go experience life, try out new things, try maybe to learn something new, try to meet new people, try out new stuff in your life, and you will at a certain point experience contrast.
Yeah.
That's almost like part of the life package.
Yeah.
And from there, you clarify your vision for what you want.
Yeah. Because unfortunately, we also came here for the contrast. We didn't come here for this amazing, blissful life that we wanted to have both sides. And it is a dream. But you know what? I think if we are, so some people will say, if you're in the frequency of the question, you're not in the frequency of the answer. So allow yourself to be in the receptive mode of the answer will come to me. And when it comes, I will be ready, right? But it doesn't have to be the full package answer, like A to Z, this is what you're gonna do. You have enough free will to adjust it as you go. But see it as an experimentation and not as a, oh, if I do that, I'm gonna fail. Just experiment with things, you know? Just experiment, and whatever gives you joy, gives you expansion, what I think would be good. Yeah. But of course, if you want to make it a business, you know, you need to do, you know, other people would do things like market research, and looking at what other people do. I don't do that because whatever I create is so different. So I would say, if this is a new service coming from your being, let's say you're a healer or you're a coach, I wouldn't try and figure out what I need to do. But what I would do is maybe, you know, find some books about marketing, how to think the way that your perfect client thinks, you know. And I don't even have a perfect client. I read the books, the marketing books, and I say, I'm not sure I'm going to do this. At one point, your vibration knows more than all the 3D matter to matter strategy. And I know here, Jazz is nodding. So maybe you have some things to share. And you were in a taster workshop. Would you like to share a little bit just about what you saw shifting after the taster workshop and how you experienced it? We did a constellation. We did a constellation there.
Yeah, so okay, so first the constellation. I had like a sense, you know, that what I want to put as an issue holder, it won't go that direction. And it didn't. Because obviously, like my higher self or whatever, my soul, whatever you want to call it, picked something different. Yeah. And it was actually a relationship with my father and with myself, and, you know, self-love and all that connected. And yeah, it transformed, you know, it healed within me what we were doing there. And I literally had the very next day the confirmation of that. And this is what Angelique already shared, that my father sent me roses from the garden. First time in his life, I was gifted the flowers from my dad. Like, I never ever received that before. And, you know, my mom brought this to me because she was visiting me. And she said, you know, this is from that. I said, like, yeah, you know how to cover stuff. Tell me what really happened. And, you know, she told him she wanted to bring me roses, but she forgot. So in the morning when she was leaving, he said, where are the roses for Yasmina? This is like my name in Croatian. And she's like, I forgot. So I'm going to bring it to her because, like, it's from me. And he's taking the care of the rose garden now more than her, like for the last year or so. So this is literally from him. And the way he was treating her, they're actually not very well. You know, the relationship between them, it's not so well. But yesterday, it was like, she was like, what the hell is going on? He's so nice to me. I was like, I know what's going on. I can't share.
Don't tell them. They won't. They'll suddenly.
They won't get it anyway. So it was like, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So, and also I shared it in a chat like during all this while you were still working with Fabienne. So my friend is right now at the concert of Depeche Mode in Stockholm and sending me videos all the time.
Oh,
Depeche Mode pure wow, and all that.
Live stream.
And the funny thing, when you finish with Fabienne, he sent me Everything Counts in large amounts.
Oh, wow.
The song.
Oh, Everything Counts in large amounts. Oh, wow. That's a song I didn't know.
Like, this is for you, Fabienne.
Oh.
Synchronicity.
I'm taking it too, you know.
Oh,
All of us,
oh,
we're entangled.
yeah,
I was like, what the hell is going on, you know? Like,
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, and about this, you know, like, to me, like personally, I think that, you know, like why we have, like, when we experience something very nice, very joyful, very like in love with something, we kind of want to create even more of that. So we get attached to that. And that actually stops the next creations or in new experiences. It's like being addicted to the comfort zone. Oh, this is so good. This is so beautiful. I want to stay there. I want to stay there. And it doesn't work that way. I personally, contrast or not, I think life brings us all sorts of different beautiful stuff and shit at the same time. But how you perceive it, it's something what I think, Tina, you asked, you know, how to be more like to that kind of zero, more like grounded. Like when I'm in that kind of, when I nurture myself, I'm more down, and whatever happens does not affect me that much. I don't perceive it too personally, let's say that way. And then like whatever happens, I don't care. Is it like nice or not so nice, beautiful, like beautiful, thank you, thank you, thank you. Not so beautiful, okay, we'll handle it, let's move on. It's just not that, it's not like this, it's more like this. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
And that opens up for more creation. But actually, like when we change, when we need to, you know, like change or shift something, we do that every single day. Every single day, every single moment is new opportunity for that.
Yeah.
It's up to our choices, just what you said. It's up to our choices. So which direction you want to go? Yeah, it's beautiful. Let's move on. What do you mean? I don't want to move on. It's so beautiful. Yeah, go on, move on. So when to change, when to shift, when to create new, all the time. My answer is all the time.
I wanted to go back to you saying that the higher self chose something else for you in the constellation. Very often people, when they don't receive love from the parents, they sabotage their own success. We see it over and over again. And it's not only receiving love from the parent, it is also sometimes feeling they need to be bigger than the parent. So that's like a rule in constellations where children take care of the parents, or they think they know more than the parents. So they have a little bit of an arrogant standpoint of view towards the parents. So they judge the parents. So then we need to, so that is a distortion in the order of love. So because on the one hand, the children are perpetuating a marital problem between the spouses. So they could be loyal to one parent and then, you know, almost be like just as arrogant to the other parent, like mirroring the other parent. So let's say your parents have a very difficult relationship, then the sons and the daughters, they start to pick on this lack of love towards one of the parents as well, because they're loyal to the other parent. But literally, when we do those things, we distort the order of love, and then we cannot receive the support, and we feel we need to struggle by ourselves. And because we're blocking our flow of love from the ancestors that want to give it to us, we're also not receiving the strength from the ancestors. Of course, we want to turn away from the trauma, but we're also not receiving the strength that is there. And when we do a constellation, often we, love comes in, or whatever you want to call it, and something shifts. And everybody feels it, as you've seen, and you didn't tell your dad. I didn't know what was going to happen. I've seen constellations happen with parents where the father wasn't ready, and that was heartbreaking. Yeah. So people sometimes are very willing, and that in the constellation, the father isn't ready. And then, somebody then has to make the choice for themselves to really allow the father not to be ready.
Yep.
And not to feel wounded by it. But that I would say is another constellation where you allow people not to be ready, and maybe there's a karmic theme there, but I wouldn't recommend doing so many constellations that you want your father to change. I mean, then we're doing the wrong stuff, right? And I mean, and that is completely out of our authority. We cannot decide for other people how their souls will shift.
Exactly. But to me, to my experience, when we shift, any relationship we are in shifts too, because we are not the same people anymore.
Yeah.
And as we are part of the field, right, the oneness, it affects everyone, whether they're aware of it or not. It just affects. And when there are big shifts, they sunset. They have no idea what is. My dad has no bloody idea what happened, right? But he sensed something, like can sunset. So definitely, yes. And yeah, it's okay to be literally in a allowance for someone to shift or not, to be ready or not. Maybe not even in this lifetime, maybe not even in the next few lifetimes. That's totally okay. But it's up to us how we're gonna relate to that, how we're gonna handle it.
Absolutely.
And that's what we have the power of change. That's why this is working.
Yeah. And to go to some of the people that are questioning what should I do, I know that this Robert Grant, he spoke very highly about gene keys. And I know some of my friends are doing human design. I don't really understand it. I mean, I'm more like a old-fashioned astrology girl. So, but I'm trying to understand gene keys and human design. It goes beyond my mind. So I don't know whether that could help, maybe find out. But of course, there's still a lot of freedom within gene keys and human design. Yeah. So another tool that you could look into is MBTI and career. I was talking to Tina. The MBTI I felt was very accurate for me, because the MBTI, once you know your type, there's quite a lot of different things that you could do that uses your specific type of personality, so that whatever work you're going to do in that area is not going to drain you. It's not going to make you feel overwhelmed. So it's using the type of personality that are right for certain careers. So there's many things that you can play with and you still have freedom. Yeah. And so I hope that makes sense. Sheila, we'll have a separate conversation anyways. Yeah. Because
No, I just wanted to say, if people, because I spent about a year diving into human design last year. So I have some good resources. I spent so much time researching. And so I'll put in the chat a couple of really trustworthy resources, including somebody who works, there's a woman who does career stuff with gene keys in particular. I stopped at some point because like the gene keys was just too much. And so this whole manifesting part of this pocket of the healing world is something that I have really avoided completely, deliberately. And so I think I need some help in this area. I know that I do. But it's also so different from the kind of healing work that I do. So I'm just like today, I'm wondering if we can get the link to the recording, because I'm just slower. It was hard to follow along with Fabienne, like as you were going through the levels and what Henrik was saying earlier about being able to follow along. And when I ran into trouble, being able to visualize something, then like I lost the plot. And so I could only watch what Fabienne was good. So I kind of want to break it down a little bit for myself.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if we can get the link. And I also have another friend who wanted to attend this afternoon, but I wasn't in touch with her soon enough to send her the invite. So there's something else. Oh, yeah. No, I was just going to say, it was funny because Henrik and I talk all the time about this. He and I have opposing viewpoints about the marketing, about like he really believes in the power of digital marketing and like niching and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, actually, I think if I'm in alignment with, because I know how to write, like I think I can represent it kind of like what you're doing. I don't have one ideal target client. I'm not even sure I have one target ideal career. I think we'll talk about it tomorrow, but I think the problem is actually elsewhere. So but it's just funny what showed up in yesterday's constellation that I participated in, and then today, like what being reflected back, what's showing up holographically. It's very clear to me. It's all one and the same. The reality that keeps on making itself visible is these self-limiting beliefs. So
yeah,
it's very interesting.
but now it's a trance and it's a hypnosis. It's not really who we are, and so this should be a relief. It shouldn't be, I'm going to beat myself up. Why have I trained for 15 years and I'm still don't have my shit together? No, if you're in a trance, you don't know you're in one. And you literally have to identify it one by one and then have new strategies, which is the whole thing. This is Dr. Joe's work. Yeah, this is the Break the Habit of Being Yourself, chapter 7. But
what is Dr. Joe's last name?
Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Oh, okay. Sorry, because I'm not even familiar with a lot of these people.
Okay, yeah. So Dr. Joe Dispenza has a book, Break the Habit of Being Yourself. But his work is really very much about meditation and raising your energy, working with the energy centers in active meditation, breath work. And that was really beautiful for me. And I manifested things there, but I still didn't clear my energy field enough to really be free. So, and I think it is because I'm very mental. I have a lot of mental representations of the world. I see, I think a lot. So I really need to get out of the let's say the prison of my mind. So maybe you're more kinesthetic and the energy work, let's say meditation could work for you, but it didn't work for me. But I think the people that are very mental, very intellectual, I see a lot of books behind you. Maybe you need more of the mental work or to actually understand the nature of the mind, the way they teach it in the Fast EFT world and the release technique world.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a lag in, this was something I couldn't figure out. So there's a lag between the sensei. I'm very kinesthetic, actually. I'm quite kinesthetic, which is something that I developed over the last 12 years of training in the healing work. But I didn't know that I was kinesthetic. But the thing is, I have a hard time doing the mapping, the connection to the feeling, like identifying exactly what it translates into. So I need to sit a little bit with that chart. And sometimes I'm having, like, it was a little confusing when you had Fabienne do like the feeling of fear, identify the feeling of fear, and then just allow the fear to be and love the fear, whether it was coming or going, and saying that it was completely welcome. And then there was a lot of modulation of like sensing of the feeling body, and then the distinction between energy and emotion. And so like there's a little bit of the because I'm not in the energy healing world. I do Reiki, but I'm actually doing something else while I'm doing Reiki. I'm combining techniques. So I don't think of myself as an energy healer, even though I'm doing Reiki. So it's just new, and I need to spend a little more time with it to get familiar. So physically I can catch up.
Yeah. I mean, it might help to just sometimes watch some of the videos of the other teachers, but the way I work is different again, because I think, it's quite repetitive. Like some of these, Fast EFT is very repetitive. Releasing is super repetitive and very boring in a way. And I don't see why, if I'm releasing, I'm not immediately merging it with the field, the 0 point field, right? To me, that completely makes sense. But you would never hear Hal from the Sedona method or Chris talk about it, because that's not how they think. But probably it's just they don't feel comfortable with it because they want to stay loyal to Lester. And to me, that is my thing. I'm not going to stay loyal to any teacher because, I don't want to be boxed in by anybody. But it doesn't matter what I say. It's really about, there's an energy field of consciousness out there, but we have our personified emotional constructs. Emotion is, I would say, more personal, and feelings as well, whereas energy is in a lot of different forms, like even old memories are energy, but you also have divine consciousness energy, you have angelic energy, you have many different realms. But what I'm trying to do is completely go to the 5th dimension, which is a teaching of Dr. Joe, where everything exists, all time, all possibilities are existing there as a potential. And when an observer connects with it, it can go down into the 3rd dimension, which is reality. And so to go to the 5th dimension, you know, you would have to go to the 4th dimension, but then in Theta Healing, they say 7 dimensions. So it's quite confusing, but the way I see it is like we have emotions, they're personified, probably in either the country that we live in or the fields that we're interacting in. For instance, Fabienne had it with the trading world or with the specific stocks that she invested in or crypto. And so anytime we're interacting with a field, we are going to be hit by the energy consciousness of it. Yeah. So this is why I talk about the light worker's pendulum. If we identify as a light worker, there are thought forms and memories of healers and money and safety and visibility involved that we don't even know about, but we need to work with them. Because all what I'm hearing is that a lot of healers have problems with money. And a lot of healers are discarding their healing career to be in corporate life because it's safer and it's more profitable. But there's also healers that do make it well. And then why? So what is the difference? The difference is that they have overcome their fear of being judged or being ridiculed. And so they are completely living in courage. And they're living in acceptance that people can ridicule them. So if we can start to outgrow our fear of being, of feeling these emotions and allowing ourselves to witness all the human drama from a higher perspective, we can stop protecting ourselves from the unknown, and we can create from a new field of consciousness where we are the trailblazers. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's good. I'm happy to do another round where we go slower. I mean, I have to say I was very happy that that Fabienne did it so quickly, but not every, you know, but maybe because she has studied release technique, so it was very helpful. And she was the one raising her hand, so it was more easy to work with her. But if it was maybe you or Henrik, it would have been gone slower because I have to follow the pace of the person that I'm working with. Yeah. So I'm happy to record that as well.
Yeah. I'm not worried. I'm just wondering if I can get a link to the recording after.
Yeah, I will do that.
Go back through.
I will do that. Yeah. So, so some of you might still want to know how I work in a constellation, because every constellation is different before you actually know whether you can commit to a course or something. So I'm going to do one this weekend, and the times I suggested were probably not the best time. So I might suggest more times to see whether more people can join. So because I really want people to know what they're going to get when they work in the group. I mean, I've run a lot of groups before, and it's really fun. And you start to get entangled with each other, and you start to trust each other, and you see one person making changes here, suddenly other people are making changes there, and everybody, it becomes like another system again. So, but I know that I'm going to be finding the right people will join. I completely trust in that. But if you want to know more, it would be helpful to talk to me, because if I'm not the right, or if whatever I offer is not the right format, you know, maybe I have other suggestions for you as well. Yeah. So you have a discount code. Yeah. Thank you, Sheila.
Yeah, it's because I wanted to introduce it to some of my non-dual Kabbalistic healing friends.
Yeah.
And so she offers discount codes, all the 10% discounts constantly on her Instagram page. But they come and go. They were expiring. So I said, can you just give me one so that if I'm ever meeting people, you can at least know kind of the source of where this is, the stream of where this is coming from, who's asking, or like it's just somebody who I'm recommending to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
but I stopped spending so much time with human design because I kind of reached I think it's incredible. I think it's as incredible as MBTI.
Yeah.
But of course they all have their different they're different. And one thing I like about Erin Claire Jones in particular is that some people treat it like astrology, like this is the prophecy of where your life is going to go. And she talks about working within your alignment. I did a flow workshop of hers where she does, it's like a 3-hour, I think, I can't remember, 2-hour workshop in which she has a group of people and they bring their human design charts to the group. And then she just talks about she leads you through the high level parts of the chart. And I don't know, it's a much more affordable way of doing it. Now she has this intensive course that you can do, and people want to become human design practitioners, but I just didn't want to go any further. But she's really practical. Like a lot, if you go to the original human design sources, it's like to get the information, you have to go to umpteen different things. You have to keep on spending more and more money to get more and more information or recordings or whatever. So I found her to be kind of the most approachable and straightforward, and she's quite ethical. There's all sorts of people practicing human design out there. Yeah. And then I'm about to send the name of the Instagram account of the person who is specifically who works on Gene Keys.
But you know, the only thing I would say, and this is I think MBTI, human design, astrology, they're good directives to know. For instance, human design made me understand that I'm a downloader. I download all the time, and this is why I can trust it. But I'm telling my husband to download, he can't. And I'm frustrated with him, but he can't. And other people they just know. They don't even tell them what to do because they are so stubborn. They already know what to do. So that to me is very personal and very effective. But do they know what to do? That is still where we have to trust our own intuition and our own joy. And that is really up to us. I did say, what is it? I'm not sure where I said it, but there's a book called Soul Purpose, but based on the book, The Life of Edgar Cayce, the Sleeping Prophet. I don't know whether you've ever heard of him. Soul Purpose, Edgar Cayce. That book is a series of lessons all about why we reincarnate. And literally the exercise is very, very simple. He has a whole list of words or qualities that you can write down. Let's say he had a whole list in a book, and then you could choose like 12 words. And then you have to break down, you have to find the 4 words that resonate with you. You have like a relationship, like a connection with the word. For me, it was spirituality, problem solving, innovation, and I forgot the 4th one. But so he says your soul purpose has something to do with these qualities. It doesn't matter how you use it. So as long as I'm connected to spirituality, problem solving, and innovation, then I'll be fine. I could do it as a baker, but baker is not enough spirituality for me. Although maybe somebody will prove me wrong. I don't know. But do you see what I mean? So it's not about be this, be that, be a healer or whatever. Whatever makes you, whenever you can engage with certain concepts or certain fields, that will be where you can express your soul purpose. I just saw another person talk about it. He wrote the book Spiritual Selling. For some reason, that book appeared in my Google Drive. I don't even know how it appeared, but I was like, oh my God, we need to read this book. Joe Nunziata, never heard of him. Joe Vitale was recommending him. I looked up all his YouTube videos. He's completely into astrology and everything. And he had a video about soul purpose. And he actually said there's 3 dimensions. I can share it. But he said, it's very generic. The first one is just to share your gifts with the world. And the second one, I didn't even remember what it was because I was multitasking as normal. And the third one was to really allow source to expand. So there was no direction. There was no direction about what we need to do. We are given that much freedom in a way. Yeah. But you know what it is, right? What I can say, and Jazz was there in that constellation. When there is a constellation, and Sheila, you were in one yesterday, when there is a part that has no life, it's very stagnant, the energy, then there is a lack of aliveness. And so when Jazz was into Taster Workshop, there was a constellation about direction of energy where the future self was almost falling asleep. And in my own constellation, before I decided I will take up the healing work, literally there was somebody else falling asleep as well. So I would say sometimes the constellation can show you that you have put to sleep something that could liven up your life, right? So, and that all that what I was casting away, because I wanted to do trading, because with trading you can make so much more money. And I'm releasing on that every day, Fabienne. So, but literally, when I started accepting the healer role, and I just did it because I thought, Source, I think I'm the only one that can design this course the way that I do it. And I'm the one that's going to do the money constellations work because I feel so obsessed about it. I love abundance. I love prosperity. I have been, so much information has been coming through me. I literally wake up feeling alive, and normally I wake up and I want to do my journaling. I want to have my coffee and, just daydream a bit. But now I'm like, no. So much information has to come through me and I'm excited by it. So allow yourself to be that channel. There's something for us and we can be that channel. Yeah. But yeah, you cannot figure it out by your mind. The constellation showed it to me, and then it showed up again for Henrik. And then I thought, what is this? What is this sleepy element that brings people to sleep? It's just us killing certain parts of us or pushing it away, putting it in a closet. No, I don't want you. I don't need you. And then a part of us, a part of our life force is blocked. And I think that the constellation showed me that we don't have to work with those things that we don't want to look at, but if we do allow them in, there's a lot of effortless creation, Yeah, so that's what I do believe. So, and that is the field again, working with the field and working with constellations instead of with trying to figure it out. Yeah. I want to let you in Europe go to bed. I want to thank you for being here. And I'm also going to connect to this money with wings.
It was flying all over, in all directions.
And not just one, I hope.
No, many. There was plenty.
Oh,
and
many.
When you said connect to the infinite source, I can't remember what you said when you said that. It just
infinite source of supply. Infinite source of supply. Yeah.
Yes, just demultiplied like infinitely, So I was like, wow, that's a lot of money.
This is Abundance book, John Randolph Price. It's a very important teaching from the older teachers, the New Thought teachers. They were always talking about the infinite source of supply, because right now we're hypnotized to think it's a job or a career or, will come through some channel, but it doesn't have to be this job, this field, this what, We don't block the channels that can give us the freedom lifestyle. We don't. We allow it to be completely open and from the unknown as well. So anyways, I'll talk to you. We'll set up a time to talk, Sheila, and I'll be recording the program from the courses, the 2 courses, and then you guys can contact me with any questions. So lots of love, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Love to Mario.